I mean, we do. There are songs like where you don't actually know the lyrics. You sort of just mumble anything in the tune and then just say the chorus. And I think Elton John "Rocket Man" is one of those songs because I just sort of go "Rocket Man." I couldn't tell you any other words from that song. Do you know
Yeah.
anything past that?
Rocket Man, but I think
See,
it
it
does.
works. You can just say anything and nailed it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Heroes of Handheld. We're here again. I was actually looking the other day. We are into our 6th year of podcasting. 6 years.
Amazing.
Like,
Happy birthday.
I think our birthday was last month. We sort of just completely missed it. But, brah, if we were a child, we would be walking, we would be talking, and we would be having tantrums and causing our parents a lot of grief at the age of 6. Who'd have thought it? After all these years, we'd still be here shooting the shit, talking about video games. Because the reason I bring this up, because E3 has rolled around again, and it's time for the annual Heroes of Handheld E3 not wrap up. What's the word? E3 roundup.
Analysis
E3
roundup. Yeah.
It's like Woody's roundup with Colin and Chris. I'm Colin. That's Chris. This is Heroes of Handheld, and we are a podcast dedicated to handheld video games, mostly talking about Nintendo Switch, but we do dabble in mobile gaming. And in the past, we dabbled in PlayStation Vita and 3DS, 2DS, all those sort of things. First thing I want to say, because I should have mentioned this last week, we've actually changed our logo very recently. Heroes of Handheld. Like some people who follow us on Twitter may have noticed this at Handheld Podcast. We changed our profile picture on there, but I finally got around to updating it on the RSS feed. So now, if you subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or anywhere where you get our podcast from, you'll see our new grand spanking logo, which I think is quite cool. It's the 3rd iteration of our logo. Only 3 logos in 6 years. That's pretty darn good. Let us know your thoughts on it. It's very clean. I should probably say a big thank you to Ben Aldridge, who made it for us of his own back. He made it in about 5 minutes, and it's already like that. Our previous one was something I cooked up, brewed up in the space of like 2 weeks with my limited Photoshop knowledge, and that's all I could come up with. So it sort of says my limited ability on Photoshop. But I just wanted to say about the new logo, and thank you to Ben Aldridge for making that for us. Anyway, let's get on to gaming. And before we go any further, Chris, how are you? What have you been playing this week?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. I've been playing. I've gone back to, actually, you'll be interested in this, and we'll talk about it more later on in another context. I've been in a bit of a lull, so I decided to try and finish Spyro 2 Remastered.
Did I know you had the remastered one? We've spoken about this.
Yeah, we spoke about it before.
Because when I first, you just finished the first one, but you hadn't started the second one yet, and I was saying that you're in for a treat.
Here's the thing. I like 2, but I feel like it's overcomplicating what was previously a very pure gameplay experience. The fact you have to backtrack all the time when you get new moves is annoying.
I think we've discussed this, haven't we? There's a bit in the tutorial level, the very first level, where you go up to, because I think if people haven't played Spyro, you have to find these characters and they give you missions and you get orbs and talismans and things like that. But there's a bit in the prologue first tutorial level where you go up to a character and you can't do a bit unless you climb up a ladder, and you haven't learned how to climb yet. And it's so annoying because it's just like a ladder. Like, you can climb a ladder. Why can't you? And they make like snarky comments, don't they? Like, oh, we need you to save us. You don't know how to climb a ladder. Come back when you can climb a ladder.
Yeah, it's right. It's right in the first level, isn't it? I just find like it. What I love about the first Spyro is that it's like pure gameplay challenge, and when it comes down to it, you can 100% a level and move on, and like that's very satisfying. What I like less about this one is that you do have to like go back and forward and back and forward. But I am enjoying it. I'm in the winter levels now, which I assume is the last batch.
Winter Tundra.
I managed to actually, surprisingly, everyone always talks about the trolley.
Trouble with the trolley, eh?
Yeah,
trouble with the trolley, eh?
I didn't find that so hard. But the one that has really I found very difficult is catching the kangaroos with the spark plugs. Do you remember this?
Were they
In these
kangaroos?
swamplands, they're like, I think they're like kangaroos.
Are they the things that go no 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 no
Yeah,
no
yeah,
no?
yeah, and they're running off.
They sort of like wave your hand no 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 no. Oh, they're such assholes. Yeah,
So
they're really annoying.
frustrating.
And like
Um,
they just go a little bit faster than you can run, and you have to just get them as they're turning. You have to sort of cut a corner. If you cut the
Yeah.
corner too much, they turn around and go the other way. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. You basically can only get through it by jimmying it because you can't catch up with them. You have to try and like, it's not glitch isn't the right word, but it feels like you're abusing the game's mechanics a bit.
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, so I've been enjoying that. What else have I been playing? I haven't really been playing very much on my Switch. I've played a little bit more Stardew. In the Great Farm campaign, I'm playing with my friend Rob. We're in Winter Season 2, which is quite cool.
Nice.
Yeah, just chilling. What have you been playing?
Well, the game I've been mostly playing a game on my phone, and the game is cool. You know, in the past we've talking about these IO games. We've spoken about, I think there's Snake IO. There was a Care IO where you're a dot and you have to eat other dots to get bigger. It's like an online game and it's so addictive. Well, there's been so many clones of this. There was one I played a couple of months ago, or maybe last year now, called Hole.io, where you're a big hole and you got to eat other holes and you got to eat a whole town basically by making these buildings fall into like this huge manhole and you get bigger and bigger the more you eat. Well, there's a new version of this now and it's called Jaws.io, and it does exactly what it says in the tin. You are a shark and you have to eat as many people, eat docks and boats and stuff to get bigger and bigger. And then that's basically it. It's just like got a minute to eat as much as you can. There is an online gameplay to it. Most of it's just single player, surprisingly. But the online element is where you're playing as a boat, and you have to eat as much as you can, or like gather as much as you can. And then when you get to a certain level, you get a chance to be the shark. And then you become the shark, and then you can like go crazy and eat everyone and chase the other players and stuff. So it's quite cool, a bit of a mix-up on the whole IO gameplay, but it's fun. It's actually licensed by Universal, so that's how they managed to use the Jaws name, which is quite interesting. I mean, there's not really much link to Jaws apart from the name, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't look like Jaws, and the shark doesn't. It's just a shark. But you know, I don't know how much they paid for Universal to use their license, but that's what I've been playing, and it's just one of those games where it's pick up and play. I've been playing around with the Love Island app. I'm not even kidding on that, man. Voting and shit, love it. But yeah, that's it. I mean, we're going to go straight in to E3 news because E3 happened last week, and the reason I'm going to go straight into it is because we're going to quickly roll off some news that isn't related to the Nintendo Switch, because there is a lot of Switch news we need to get our teeth into. But there's some other news that came out from the other conferences like Ubisoft and Microsoft and things like that. And the reason is I turned up my Xbox the other day, and I've sort of neglected my console gaming recently for Switch and for Xbox, and you'll be shocked to hear, I'm a massive fan of the Gears of War franchise. I mean, you won't be surprised by that because you know I love Gears of War. I've spoken about it before. Played it since the first one of the first games I played on my original 360. Amazing online, amazing story and campaign. People, from the outside get a bit bored now because they keep pumping out new ones, but I love them. They've even had spin-offs. They're Gears of War Judgment, and that was fun as well. But the reason I bring that up is I've still not finished the Gears of War campaign, which is a bit of a surprise because normally I'm the sort of person who finishes campaigns and then the campaign then will go online. Gears of War 4 was a bit different because the online is just so good on Gears of War. It's so well done, so well balanced and polished, and so many cool game modes, and it's so competitive and really addictive, and there's loads of great game modes on there. So I focus most of my time playing online. But the reason I bring this up is Gears of War 5. That is a thing. It was mentioned and showcased slightly last year at E3. But this E3, we got more details. We got a new trailer, which was like a really weird, messed up music video. We got details of a new game mode. We got a release date of September the 10th. So excited for that. Coming exclusive to Xbox One and PC. But we don't care about the PC side of things, and it just looks great. It looks like more awesome Gears of War, but I feel I need to finish the Gears of War 4 campaign before going on to the 5th one because it's linked to the character Kate, who was introduced in Gears of War 4 and seems to be following her story and her struggles with her family and things like that. So I need to finish Gears 4 before I go into that. So that is great. But the reason I'm often talking about Gears of War 5, because that was heavily showcased in the Microsoft conference, is the new game mode, which looked really, really fun. Co-op mode. I think it's free-player co-op mode called Escape, which looks so interesting. They've had game modes like this before. I mean, one of the most popular modes on Gears of War is the Horde mode, which is where you're battling endless locust enemies or whatever the enemies are, and they slowly get more and more powerful. Loads of games do that. And in the past, they had a game mode called Beast, which was it flipped it on its head, where you were playing as the aliens and you had to kill the humans. But that was fun as well, because the more points you got, the more huge your alien was. In the end, you could be like a berserker, which is like this huge hench alien, which is blind, but is like got the strength of like a million men. Like you touch it, you die instantly. It's like invincible. So you literally become this berserker and sprint at everything with these barriers and just destroy the whole map. That's so fun. Anyway, this escape mode looks really cool. It seems like you have a starting point and then you have to, it's like sort of like Horde mode where there's enemies, but then you're going through different zones. So it's like Horde, but an extra level to it where you have to sort of adapt to the new surroundings. So you beat all the enemies in one area, you get to a new area, then there's different enemies coming at you. You go to another section, more enemies. Looks very good. Interested to see more on that, because those online co-op modes are always really well done by Epic Games. But yeah, I am very, very excited. And you even sent me a tweet last night about a character who's coming. I'd missed this. I'm glad you sent this to me. Now, it's been long due that a British character joins Gears of War. And I am well up for this. That I'm just finding the thing you sent me, because this character has got a name, but I cannot for the life of me remember.
So
Here we go.
the actor is Rahul Kohli from the zombie show on CW that I can't remember the name of. The thing is, it made me laugh when I saw this, because this new character, FaZe, played by Rahul, announced within a day of the first trailer for the new Watch Dogs game. And what is video game Hollywood's obsession at the moment with casting Brits, but not having them speak like British people, or not that there is a particular way the British people speak, but what is the obsession at the moment with Mockney? It rubs me up, and like
it's because America, you need to know that he's British, damn it, and all British people speak like that, damn it.
It's so awkward. I find it really hard to listen to.
He's just sort of playing like a Jason Statham sort of. Well, not even that. He's playing like some really, as you said, cocky London person who thinks he's like amazing, and then he gets beaten up by the main character straight away, JD. So in the video we saw. So. Yeah, but look, I'm up for that. I mean, apparently he's been working on it for 2 years and he's only been able to announce it now. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? 2 years.
But talking of famous people being put into games for random reasons, should we talk about Cyberpunk and the big...
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, boy. So Cyberpunk is a game that people are excited for. It was initially announced last year, was it? Or was it the year before? It's been in the pipeline for quite a while now.
I think it was announced a couple of years ago, I think.
And I mean, I didn't see the actual conference when this happened, but obviously online, I mean,
I did.
This guy, I know you probably did, but this guy is like, everyone loves this person. He is the internet sweetheart. He always plays the hard men, but then he seems to have a heart of gold. He seems like a really nice guy. He gives a lot of money to charity, and he's always loving to his fans and things like that. And he loves dogs, if that film has taught us anything. So if you saw the conference, so tell us how it went down, because I haven't actually seen it.
What Colin is getting at here was the reveal of, I don't think you've actually said, was the reveal of Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk. And basically what happened was we had a fairly straightforward gameplay, kind of quite good, good looking trailer for Cyberpunk. And then at the end, the character is lying down, and a kind of metal hand comes from above and picks them up and is like, oh, who's this? And then the character looks exactly like Keanu Reeves, and you hear that voice. And obviously, Keanu's so hot right now with John Wick and Always Be My Maybe and Toy Story coming up. So then, when he came out on stage, it was it was absolutely mad. Like the crowd were just enraptured, and it was like he hadn't been. It was like he had one thing that he wanted that he had to say, and then everything else. It felt like he was just being completely overwhelmed with like the love and the kind of passion that everyone's got for him at the moment. And like you say, he's such a well-loved person for being, as well as a very good actor, for doing all the, you know, extra things he does and the kind of story that he's led as a person. And you know, this meme at the moment is where he said like something in the game was breathtaking, and someone in the audience shouts, "You're breathtaking!" And Keanu points at him and he's like, "You're breathtaking! You're all breathtaking!" And it was just like, it was just wonderful. Like it was, and the Microsoft conference, I watched the whole thing, and I was fairly nonplussed by most of it, but I just thought that moment was like, it was really, felt very authentic and very pure, and like it was a really nice way of like, it was really cool to watch something in a conference that wasn't just trailers and like boring people from head office in suits. Like it was just like really a real wonderful moment.
I think that's where Microsoft did pretty well this year with their conference. It was the right blend of games and announcements and things like that.
I don't know. I was. Did you watch the whole thing? Well, obviously not.
No, I didn't. I just got the info that came afterwards. Like the new Ori game was announced, which everyone was expecting, and the Night Forest, whatever it's called.
The Will of the Wisps. There was some good announcements, but as a conference, I didn't find it very engaging. And like the Gears, I know you love Gears. It's going to be different for you, but as a non-Gears fan, I was watching it and I felt very bored with Gears of War, and especially the way they introduced the escape thing was like this mad, fiery, panny camera stuff, and it was just like, I don't care, just show us a bit of the game. Like,
yeah, they do overhype it a lot. There's always like, I love Gears of War, as you know, but they do always try and overhype the stories if there's some deeper meaning that's really like deep, but it's not really. It's just a bunch of muscly people and attractive people shooting and killing aliens. That's basically what it comes down to. But we love Marcus Phoenix though. Woo!
Yeah,
Marcus Phoenix.
we love him. Speaking of conferences,
actually, no, before we move on, because we've got one more thing from Microsoft's conference, and then we'll move on very quickly. They also, of course, mentioned the new Halo game. Microsoft, of course, it's going to be Halo. And then they dropped the bomb that they are working on the next generation, Project Scarlet, which they're saying will be out the end of 2020, and the new Halo game will be an exclusive for that console. But very limited information at the moment. It's the first announcement we've had officially that, you know, there is something coming, you know, in the next generation. It feels like it's not been long. We've not had much time in this generation. But
how long has it been? Like 5-6 years?
But then people made the comparison between the PS3 and the PS4 and 360 in one, and I think we're about the same amount of time now, which is insane. It feels like we've not been in this generation very long.
The PS4 was released in 2013 November.
Same age as our podcast. Then that's crazy.
I know,
crazy. So the Xbox One will be a similar time as well. God, that's really crazy. But no, it's interesting. You know, new console coming out. Obviously, I'm sure we'll get more details in the next year. But it's interesting to see. I think Nintendo in there, you know, we're going to move on to the Nintendo Direct with loads of news from there. But Nintendo did sort of touch upon how they're focused 100% on the Switch at the moment. That didn't they? I think they mentioned that they're not working on any games for the next generation. They're still focusing on the Switch, which is good to hear.
Yeah, and PlayStation, we know, have come out they weren't obviously at E3, but they have come out before in press stuff and said this is what we're working on for PS5. And the rumors are that PS5 and the new Xbox will launch they said holiday 2020 for the Xbox, but the rumors that PlayStation will launch at the same time. They kind of normally do, don't they?
Yeah. So yeah, that was Microsoft. So there's things that we're interested in. Obviously, more for me as a Nintendo person. I'm just looking down the list of things we're going to mention. Oh yeah, Watch Dogs. I thought looked quite interesting. Once again, the whole Mockney thing set in London. Watch Dogs Legion coming out soon.
Was not expecting in that conference the guy presenting Watch Dogs to give a shout out to the women coders of Bletchley Park.
Oh,
that was very powerful. I was very surprised, and that was really like a really cool moment actually for them to acknowledge, and the fact that, you know, there are these older women in the games, and they showed extended, and obviously like it's more than just that. But I personally I found that very touching, because Bletchley Park, if for maybe non UK listeners, Bletchley Park was a place during the war where mostly women, but not all, were coding and hacking and decoding classified documents and trying to look at how information was traveled. And that's where Alan Turing came up with the oh my god, what's it called? What's the machine? The Enigma.
The Enigma machine.
Anyway, so anyway, what I'm getting at is it was very sweet to hear that Bletchley mentioned
They know their stuff.
thing.
They've done their research and they know.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of more than just it being like, oh, let's point a phone at a lamppost and see what happens. It is like, it's nice that London looked quite Londony. It'll be interesting to see how 1-to-1 it is. But like you were saying,
you'll be the proper critic as you live in London.
I know.
You'll get Watchdog Legion and go down the road where you work and say, hold on.
Absolutely.
See if you see a computer version of Chris in the lobby or something. But no, I thought the grandma assassin, the Nan assassin, looked quite interesting.
Yeah, that's the highlight, wasn't it? Didn't like the first guy who was all like, "Oh, what do you mean we can't?" But then he got killed. So
let's go into that. So that was interesting. What else? Oh, the Avengers game was briefly shown.
Yeah, that was. So this was Square Enix was the Avengers game.
Looked interesting to me. Obviously, none of the voice actors or the actors, not based on the actors from the actual films, which is quite nice in my opinion. That this not like trying to base it off like Robert Downey Jr. or Hemsworth or anything like that. But it looked interesting. I think it's difficult to know whether it was actually gameplay. There was when they were showing the clip where they're fighting on that bridge, each character, the camera was sort of positioned in a way where it could have been from a third person point of view, you controlling the character very briefly, which is interesting. Be interesting to see how they all control and how it all works. But obviously very limited information at the moment. But I think that sort of game is long overdue if it's done right. I mean, the Spider-Man game for PlayStation was very well received last year, so there's no reason why this can't go down the same route if it's done properly. Does that look good?
Yeah, I'm quite keen for that. And they were saying that they're going to add more Avengers as well, which I think is very important.
Nice. We had the free-to-play roller skating game I've written here, which was Roller Champions from Ubisoft, which this has been... I mean, most of these games, we knew they was going to be announced because there were so many leaks leading up to E3. But Roller Champions is going to be a free-to-play game. I think similar maybe to Rocket League sort of thing. I don't know. But I think the idea is that looking at how the game plays, you have to do a lap of this course, and then you have to try and score goals or something like that. It's interesting concept, but it's free. And there was a demo that was playable during E3 as well, and there's no microtransactions, anything like that. So yeah, it's sort of like a spin on Rocket League, I guess. But I'm interested. I mean, it looks nice. Free to play.
Wait, hang on. There were no microtransactions.
Apparently.
What, in the demo or in the full game?
Well, let's see what this says. Play E3 demo for completely free between... Oh, yeah. They're saying that the demo was free and there was no microtransactions in the demo. So you'd imagine there probably will be microtransactions in the actual game itself. It does look very pretty, though. Yeah, I can see what it means. There's like a course you have to go around, and there's goals. I think you've got to pass the ball to each other as well in a team, and there's like goals appearing in random places along the walls and stuff. But no, it's intriguing. These sort of games. I mean, I'm a big fan of Rocket League, so if it's in that sort of ilk, I'll definitely check it out. And let's briefly mention the last... Oh, there's two bits here. We did mention that the Simpsons creators were going to have a panel there, but nothing was really announced there. They didn't really reveal any new games. All they did announce is a game that was in development, potentially a party game, Simpsons party game, similar to like Mario Party, which never happened in the end. So that's pretty much all we got.
And that is a shame, because that could have been a really good game. Like The Simpsons, I feel like is overdue an excellent game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I've said this before, Hit and Run I never played, but I'd love to play it now. I sort of missed the boat on that. I didn't play the Simpsons game from 2007. I can't believe that was 2007. That blows my mind that one came out. But yeah, I mean, it's such a huge phenomenon, Simpsons. It's got a huge following, huge cast of characters. I mean, I did play Simpsons Wrestling back on PS1 back in the day, which I loved.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was sick.
I love that. It was pretty terrible because you could just like get Homer and then just jump on people's heads the whole time and they couldn't hit you. That was always fun. But yeah, so that was a bit of a damp squib on that. We were hoping for stuff and didn't get anything. And lastly, this is Switch news, but briefly mentioned that Elder Scrolls Blades is coming to Switch.
Yeah, which is going to be very interesting to see how that game is received because it's not been very it's not being critically very fondly looked on mobile.
But then, didn't we see that it's already made a lot of money? So it doesn't matter if it's well reviewed. If it's making money,
Yeah,
that's all they care about. That's all they care about. Damn it.
I mean, yeah, but they are a business.
Anyway,
blame them.
we don't care about that. We want to talk about the Nintendo Direct, which dropped, and there was so much to talk about from it. But the most exciting bit of news, I'm going to say straight away, was Bowser wearing a tie at the beginning. That's all we needed to see. That was just great. That was actually hilarious. I thought that was really well done.
I thought it was a very, very strong Nintendo conference. We've seen Nintendo Directs at E3 before, kind of not always necessarily deliver, or sometimes the pacing is weird or the structure is weird. I felt like this was a very strong showing and a really good mix of here's things coming within 2 days, here's things coming within 2 months, here's things coming, years away. Like I think they really, to be honest, I think they really delivered, and I was thoroughly, and even the games I wasn't interested in, they didn't outstay their welcome. It felt pacey, it felt fun. There was a little bit, I would say, where some games like the Contra thing, I was a little bit turned off by, but for the most part, I thought it was a very good conference. The Pokemon stuff was a bit odd, given that we'd had the Pokemon thing 2 days earlier. Although, did you see the stuff? Because it's Heroes of Handheld, Colin, did you see the things about Pokemon Bank that's been talked about?
No, I haven't. What happened there?
So Pokemon Bank, we spoke about it on the last episode, is a service that's been announced as a way of digitally managing all your Pokemon from different games, and you can transfer them all into this thing called Pokemon Bank. And the general crux was that I think it was I can't quite remember where at E3 Nintendo announced it. Basically, people were really excited because they thought they'd be able to take their entire what's called a living Pokedex, which is where you have a copy of every Pokemon, and transfer it onto the newest game. However, Nintendo have said that you're not going to be able to transfer. Only certain Pokemon will be able to be transferred onto Galar through Pokemon Bank. And the reaction has not been good. People are pissed because what's the point of having a digital Pokemon management system if you can't then put them all into the games? Really silly. I wonder whether that will get changed by Nintendo. I hope it does.
If there's enough outrage, I'm sure they will, because, that's what makes change. Outrage. Remember what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog?
Well, true. But anyway, let's get on to the main stuff at E3 from Nintendo that tickled our pickles. They started off with talk of a new Smash DLC character, the hero.
Oh, but you're so frothy for this, weren't you?
And honestly, not really. I think it's cool for some people, but I was a little bit underwhelmed.
What?
Only because I don't care about another, I don't see what is unique about this character as a piece of Smash DLC. It's another person from a Japanese RPG who uses a sword and hits people. Like, I was less fussed about that than another Smash announcement that came later on. We had a lot of stuff on the new Luigi's Mansion game. Are you jazzed for this?
This seems like a common thing. I've still not played any of them. I remember when the second Luigi's Mansion came out and it looked great, but this one did look really fun. It just looks so great. It's such a strange idea. Isn't this just a weird idea? I know there's been 3 of these games, but creating a game about Luigi looking around a haunted house, isn't it just random? It's just so weird, but it's
absolutely bizarre.
It's weird, but then I think people were more excited about Gooigi, weren't they, rather than Luigi, that new alter ego character in it. I'm tempted. I mean, I've not played the first or second one, but I'm sure it doesn't really matter. I can probably go straight into the third one. It looked great. I mean, these games are always really highly regarded, aren't they? So I'm sure it's going to be fun. I think you played
Yeah, it looks really good.
most, haven't you? So yeah, I'm keen on that.
I played the GameCube one, I think. I haven't played the DS ones, but yeah, I'm very keen for this. The next big thing was the discussion of you've written down slime controller, Colin.
Yes, I did. Now, this thanks to Twitter, this came up. Dragon's Quest, apparently, it's a common thing that when Square Enix releases a Dragon Quest game, they also release something called a slime controller. So I wasn't aware of this, but apparently this is the thing. They did it for PS4 back in 2017. They've done it in the past as well. But there's a controller coming out. It's basically a Switch Pro controller, but it's in the shape of a slime. And there's a link. I'm going to put this in the drive, and there's an image of it. It actually looks pretty darn good, and people are actually really excited about this. Yeah, it's a bit bizarre,
comfy, isn't it? It's quite round. It looks very comfy.
Yeah. It looks very soft. It looks like something you could probably throw at a wall and it'd stick. But yeah, apparently this is a common thing. It was announced by Square Enix, and yeah, it's going to have triggers, thumbsticks, motion controls, the works. It's everything. And it's just a big giant blue ball. It's just so strange, but it's a tradition, and it looks really cool, and I really want one. Like it seems like it fits really nicely in your hand as well. Like your hands go perfectly around it, like you're holding a ball.
Yeah, it does look. It looks very comfy, and it looks like you could throw it in your bag and it wouldn't get damaged by anything.
It's just a big smile on it as well. It's just so strange, just so strange. I'm talking of strange things because I've just seen the article pop up here. You mentioned this, that we're not going to get a Skate 4, but we're going to get Skatebird instead. And the reason I'm bringing this up, this has been it's been put on Kickstarter, the Kickstarter campaign now from the developers Glass Bottom Games, and it's basically exactly how it sounds, where it's a bird skateboarding, and there's a GIF, and it's just like the same bit over and over again. This little bird wearing a hat. I don't know what it's called, like a half pipe, and then going up a ramp. And it just starts again, and it's just like entrancing. It's like hypnotizing.
You love it.
It's great. I've not even heard of this, but apparently it's already reached its it's already passed its goal, unsurprisingly. But it was getting a lot of traction online over the past few days. But yeah, it could be like Goat Simulator. I hope it's more than that. But it reminds me a little bit about tabletop races as well, because everything's really small. Like the ramp is made out of pencils, and they're balanced on rubbers. It looks cool. I'm interested to see where that goes. Anyway, so yeah, the slime controllers are awesome. If you like Dragon Quest, then I'm sure you'll be keen for that. I don't think we've got any details of pricing or when that's coming out, unless I missed that on the article. Let me just double check, see if that was mentioned. It also comes with a cardboard stand as well, and you can dress it up with a little crown.
Cool.
I don't play Dragon Quest. I don't get this. What is this slime? Is it a character from Dragon Quest? It must be.
Yeah, the blue slime is like a classic Dragon Quest character.
I see.
Like this kind of thing.
Jesus Christ. There you go. Well, that's for me. Anyway, can I briefly, I know there's a lot of stuff to cover from the Nintendo conference, but can I just say the two things that really excited me? Well, a few things excited me. Firstly, The Witcher 3 has been announced, and it's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I think it's the one that's got all the DLC, so it's the complete edition. It's heading to Nintendo Switch. Once again, I've never played The Witcher. I know there's a TV series coming out on Netflix about The Witcher, which has got what's his face in it?
Oh yeah, yep.
But it's been rumored.
Yep. Oh, don't look him up. Come on, let's try and work out
Chrissy McGillicuddy Flabberflip.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, that's the one playing the main character in that. But that looks cool, and another popular game coming to the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully, it plays well. I'm sure it will. But it's the complete edition with the 2 expansions, Hearts and Stone and Blood and Wine included. So that's exciting, and that's had been rumored, so it's not a complete surprise. But they announced a list of games that are also coming to Nintendo Switch. Now, Chris, I think we can't understand how excited I am for this, and I think you know what game I'm talking about. And that is, of course, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Can't wait.
Doesn't that look absolutely incredible? I remember playing the one from 2008 or 2010, and boy, oh boy, just seeing Sonic doing figure skating fucking got me. Now that was the Winter Olympics, that one. This is the Summer Olympics. I'm so keen for this. But what's all the mini games that are included? You're going to be able to surf, skateboarding, sprinting, climbing, boxing, horse racing, Sonic riding a horse. Guys, come on, and BMXing as well, and shop. But surely the running one's going to be a bit unfair because Sonic would just win that. Unless maybe he's been like, he has to wear steel shoes or something. That looks so good.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we also had some other announcements. And another one, Alien Isolation, is coming to Nintendo Switch. And that is a game, it's one of those games where I've never actually played myself, but I've watched on YouTube because I always do this with horror games. I like to watch them on YouTube. I don't know what it is with me. Maybe because I'm too scared to actually play them myself. And I think if I watch them on YouTube and I'm in control of pausing and playing, I can like not be scared. I don't know, but Alien Isolation interests me. The whole idea where there's like the alien is like chasing you around the ship and you've got to hide, and it's like got its own. It adapts to how you play, and it's very intelligent and things like that. And that was really well regarded, I think, when it came out. So that would be good on Switch. I think that'd be a really good game to play on the handheld mode.
Come on, focus on the podcast. Not on your loved one.
I just walked in. But yeah, that game looks really cool. I'm excited for that. I've never played the original. It must be about 2-3 years since that came out now, Alien Isolation.
Yeah, it's been a couple, hasn't it?
But also another, here we are, 2009 is coming out. Yeah, anyway, another game which I'm really excited for, and you mentioned it earlier on, the Spyro Reignited trilogy is finally coming to Nintendo Switch, and we've discussed this before. I was waiting for the Switch announcement to actually play it, and it's coming out in September, and I'm so keen. And this is Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2, and Spyro 3 all remastered, and I can't wait because on Nintendo Switch it will be amazing. So excited. They're the things I'm most excited for anyway. I think we all knew the Reignited trilogy was coming. It was just a matter of when.
It kind of leaked as well, didn't it, on something or other?
Oh yeah, didn't they like release like a purple ball or something?
There was some sort of we'll be back in the Heroes Fan Art archive. I think maybe it was on one of the Nintendo shop websites for a while.
Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, there was leaks for it, wasn't it? And I think we all knew it was coming. Anyway, you cover, Chris. Be right back.
All right, okay. Let's talk about the next big part of the conference for me was the new Animal Crossing. Now, interestingly, the game has been pushed back to 2020. Initially, we thought it was going to be coming out this year. However, in an interview with IGN, I was just reading on my phone there, the president of, I think he's the president. What's his role? Anyway, the head honcho at Nintendo America's president, Doug Bowser, basically said, we are all about putting a smile on people's faces, and that extends to our employees too. We've delayed the game to 2020 because we don't want our employees to have to crunch to get it finished in time. Crunch is a big discussion at the moment in the industry, and the ideas around expectations of worker rights and how people should, stay for 100-hour weeks and whatnot. So I think it's really good that Nintendo are enforcing this and are saying, we want to treat our workers well. We will make you wait for the game if that means our workers not being put through hell. So the game's been delayed to 2020. We've actually seen quite a lot of gameplay on the Treehouse streams and in the trailer as well. You will be on a desert island in this one, and you'll be building things from scratch. You'll have to make an axe and a watering can, and you'll be making your own house and paths. And it looks like, for me, it looks like the kind of the natural progression of Animal Crossing, because the last game you were the mayor, but you were assigning things and you weren't really getting your hands as dirty. Whereas this one, it looks very much like you are in control of the island. You are getting everything sorted. Does this tickle your fancy, Colin? Are you an Animal Crossing player?
You're talking about Animal Crossing, are you?
Yeah, of course.
Well, it looked nice, but it looked the same as all the other Animal Crossing. I mean, the nearest I've come to actually playing Animal Crossing was when that mobile game came out a couple of years ago, and you had to make your own camp. But yeah,
Pocket Camp.
You've probably discussed that's been pushed back, but you were saying it looks nice. I remember when was it on 3DS? The last Animal Crossing came out, and you were like,
The last proper one was 3DS, and I was obsessed.
Yeah, you were, because that's all you spoke about. And I think that was back. Yeah, we spoke about it on the podcast, where every week you were talking about what you'd done in Animal Crossing. We were just
I
like,
love
Chris,
it.
what are you
I
talking,
love it.
you're talking about Hedgehog. Here we go.
Can't wait. So that was announced and discussed. And then the last two big bits of news. The final one was the announcement that the Zelda team are working on a sequel to Breath of the Wild supposedly in the same engine. We saw a trailer for it. It featured Zelda and Link going into a dungeon and then finding a Ganon that looks like it's kind of being resurrected. And they didn't even give it a name. They just said Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel is in development. Technically, we don't even know if it will come out on Switch or on the future console, but I assume it's going to be like the Majora's Mask to Ocarina of Time for Breath of the Wild. However, Colin, the big announcement was the penultimate one, and I've not been the same since it happened. And to be honest, I've watched the trailer at least 10 times, and I still tear up. It is just the most perfect announcement of a Smash character, personally, I think we've ever seen. I think the way
really
they
well
handled
done.
it is just so joyful, and it's like so celebratory. And we're talking, of course, about Banjo-Kazooie coming to Smash. So the trailer is about 2 minutes. You can watch it on YouTube. We'll embed a link to the full direct if you want to watch it on our website. How did you feel when you saw this, Colin?
Yes.
Because if we've been doing this podcast a long time, and
You
I feel like
have
I speak
mentioned it a
about
lot.
Banjo in Smash once every 2 weeks.
The thing is, like, I knew it happened when I saw Banjo-Kazooie was trending on Twitter. I was like, oh, here we go. What's this? And I was like, oh, great. Here it is. I mean, I watched the announcement video, and I agree it was really well done, but maybe you'll be able to enlighten me on this. What was it, just like a sort of a trying to tease everyone, where initially when Donkey Kong's looking out the window, they see that random dog and other character appears, and then it changes to actually them. Yeah.
Here's why that happened, Colin.
Right.
When Nintendo announced King K. Rool for the new Smash Bros. Almost a year ago, or maybe just under a year ago, it was a similar thing. So it was Donkey and Diddy asleep in their treehouse, and then a shadow outside, and it looked like King K. Rool, and then it turned out to be Duck Hunt Duo, and then King K. Rool comes from the sky, and that's exactly what they were doing with this. They took that and they played us again. And the thing is, even if when you watch it, as soon as the Jiggy, which goes through the hut, it's like, oh, we're getting Banjo. But if you missed that when you're first watching the trailer, it's such a tease.
Who's that character? Who are these characters they show before Banjo-Kazooie are revealed?
So the reason is, Colin, is it's Donkey Kong, it's Diddy Kong, and it's King K. Rool, and that's because the Donkey Kong games on the N64 were developed by Rare. And that's why there's this connection, because like Diddy Kong Racing had Banjo and Kazooie in. Like, it's the Rare lineage at Nintendo is most strongly seen through Donkey Kong 64 and through Diddy Kong.
Ah, that makes sense.
And then we get the Banjo reveal. The tears start about there. We see a lot of the gameplay. We see the way that Kazooie is going to be using eggs. We see a little hint of the final Smash with the Jingos. We see a Spiral Mountain level. Grant Kirkhope is back to the music, which is huge, because Grant is the best composer for video game music of the 90s, and of the, that music is just so iconic, and his composer style, there couldn't be anyone else. It just feels it's just so pure and joyous and wonderful. And it's like, it's even the classic design. It's not even shitty nuts and bolts. It's proper Banjo and Kazooie, Colin.
I know. But what the question I have is, what are you going to obsess over now?
Well, next we want Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, or Banjo-Tooie remastered for Switch.
There you go. We can only hope. Only hope. So you were satisfied then with...
Oh, yeah. I was, not to use too gross a phrase, but I was the cat who got the cream. I was just loving it. And it happened, and I was watching at work, and I wasn't properly watching. And as soon as I heard the music, I was trying not to cry at my desk. And did I fail? Well, of course I did, because Badger is in Smash. And who cares about anything else? Who cares, Colin? The planet's going to shit. Who gives a fuck? The UK is coming out of a disastrous political time. Who cares? Badger is in Smash, baby. The president of the United States is a complete tool. Who gives a fuck? Badger Kazooie is coming to Smash. Who cares? Nothing else matters.
I think Banjo-Kazooie could easily like solve world peace. It does.
Yes. Get on it. It'll have it done by lunchtime.
I was expecting a big reaction. You did not disappoint. As the Joker would say, you didn't disappoint. I'm glad you're happy about that.
Yeah, of course I'm happy. I'm pumped.
It's not as good as Sonic and Mario at the Olympics, though, let's be honest. Come on. Priorities, pal. Anyway, so I think that is basically everything.
That means, Colin, we'll get a Badger Kazooie amiibo as well.
Oh god, I bet you'll be on that shite.
Absolutely, it's not shite. It's very pure. I think that's everything from E3. I think. That, I mean, it's not everything, but that's the stuff that we really want to, what the notes we really want to hit. We'd love to hear what all your reactions were watching E3. You can tweet us at Handheld Podcast. You can email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching Heroes of Handheld. And the website is heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com. But if you've got a bad word to say about Banjo, you can absolutely go and shove your head up your ass. Have you watched the trailer?
The trailer for their announcement?
Yeah.
Watch
it again. Watch it again.
I've already watched it twice. I don't even get the hype, and I still thought it was very well done.
I was watching it whilst I was waiting for you, and it finished, and you still weren't here. I just watched it again.
Is it free DLC?
No, it's part of the season pass.
There you go. How much do you have to pay for Banjo?
Well, I think it's like £4 or £5 a character, or you can buy the whole thing for 20.
Was he worth £4?
Yes! Well, of course he fucking is. Stupid question is that. Go away.
Amazing.
We're done.
Amazing.
Me and you, we're done professionally.
Well, it's never been professionally, let's be honest.
Sorry.
Keep it personal. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back in some form next week. I think one of us is away, but we'll be back next week in some form, giving you all the latest in handheld gaming news. We'd love to know your thoughts on E3 this year. Did you say the email address, or shall I say it again?
I did, but do it again if you want.
heroesofhandheld@gmail.com, Twitter @handheld podcast. Just search Heroes of Handheld, and we'll be able to find you'll find us somewhere. We'd love to know your thoughts on E3 this year. Chris is frothing. I'm frothing Aspire on Switch. It's just been a great time all round. It's just been smiles all round. I feel it's just been a great time for us all. So, on that note, we should say goodbye. Thank you for listening. Back next week. Have a great week playing games. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.